Hello, we're going to talk about wage payments and interval dates. Something that we've been seeing from some of our clients is that there is some confusion over payslip dates and how you really should be formatting them to the end date of your billing interval. And what I mean by that is if you have contractors that are working for you, and let's say you pay them on a weekly or a monthly basis, you want to make sure that not only are you calculating their earnings for that date and time interval, but you're also post dating the payslip date to the last day within that interval. If you don't, you then run into some confusing mathematics, which as time goes on, you'll find difficult to manage. Now, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to log into our BizTim business management software system here. I'm going to use one of my admin accounts. Perfect. And you'll see we're on our dashboard screen. Now I'm going to go to now we're currently using word translation as if this is a tutoring company. We have full flexibility over that, but right now we're calling our consultants teachers in this case. So we're going to go to teachers and the wage manager. Next, let's take a look. Let's say you pay your teachers a month in the past. So we're going to select as our earnings interval, we're going to select last month, which for us right now is February. It's currently March the 9th. And you'll notice here we have one of our teachers, Joanne, and they worked a whole 1 hour last month and have an earnings of $30. So we're going to click the little green button here. And you'll notice the payslip date on the right side panel right here is February the 28th. And that's done on purpose. What our software is doing is it's automatically post dating that payslip date so that it falls within the interval of the time interval that you're calculating earnings for. Now, you'll notice, watch, if you do something like, for example, our all-time, since it doesn't necessarily have an end date, if we type it, we click on Joanne again, you will notice that the date is currently the 9th. It chooses the current date. Okay, so that's one way in which the system, if you choose an earnings interval, it'll automatically select the correct payslip date for you. But if you are finding yourself and you're using our software and you're using the all-time, you want to make sure that you make this date based on the last possible time in which you are looking at this as an interval. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to last month and I'm going to click on Joanne. And for the payslip date, I'm actually going to change it to March. I'm going to change it to the current date. And then I'm going to say create. And notice what happens. On the left side panel, our panel here for Joanne still says she owes $30. The earnings are the same, but she still owes $30. Why is that? If we click on them again and we go to payslip, you'll notice our payslip has a date of March the 9th. That's the one we changed it to. Because what's happening is it's looking at the interval from February 1st to February 28th. It's not seeing a payment within that time. So whereby it's calculating earnings properly, your due is not exactly correct. Now, how you can correct that if you find yourself in a similar situation is we can go to our wage payment list. We can find that last one that was March the 9th or marked as March the 9th. We can edit it and we can change it back to the last day within that billing period, which is the month of February, and specifically February the 28th, and we'll submit that. Now we'll go back to our wage manager. We will select the last month, and you'll notice now the earnings are still 30 for Joanne. However, the due amount is 0. And another way we can look at it is we can, let me just print this out for you. Now let's say this is time, and this is time 0, and these are different months. Okay, and then let's say this is 1, 2, these just represent different months. Let's say we are paying from the 1st to the 4th. This could be months, could be weeks, it doesn't really matter. And then let's just, okay, I'm just gonna color this in. So we are going to calculate their total earnings for this area. So let's call it weeks, so that makes a lot more sense. So this is 4 weeks of earnings, okay? And then go back to there. We'll make opacity that, a little bit more. Good. So now we have this area here, which represents our earnings. Good. And in the case that we had before was $30, okay? And then the amount due would be also $30. So if we put the payslip date anytime either within the green area, commonly we would put it right on the end of that green area, then what our software will do is calculate earnings of 30, payslip of 30. Therefore, these two together make 0 due when it's paid out in full. But if this is somewhere on the side of the green area, you're still going to have a due of 30. And this is why it's very important to get that payslip date represented by somewhere between your earnings area for that specific earnings interval. Now, if we look again on our software and we look at Joanne, we give you all the tools you need to see what's happening. For example, we can go to the History tab for February. It'll show all the hours that they worked, what sessions they came from, and the calculated amount that's owing, as well as you can look at an all-time list of payslips for your consultant or your teachers or your practitioners. And this should help you see whether or not, if you do see some erroneous due amounts that don't add up to your earnings amount, it's likely because if you look in the date area, you probably haven't backdated your payslip date to within the earnings interval. Thanks very much.